Renowned actor Sello Maake kaNcube is set to light up the stage once again as he reprises the role of Can Themba's seminal piece, The Suit. Having recently returned from a triumphant run at the National Arts Festival, which celebrated 30 years since the play was last performed there, this new production promises to be a stirring revival, exploring the complex themes of betrayal, infidelity, humiliation and death. Sello Maake kaNcube joins us in studio now for more on this. Dr. Sello, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
really
very much,
appreciate it. It's been, what, 10 years since you last played Filimon?
No, 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
A lot of life has happened for you between then and now.
Yeah.
How has your own lived experiences informed your treatment of the character this time around, 30 years later?
You know, I once read something, and there's a quote by John Gielgud. John Gielgud is one of the great classic actors in Britain, and he said it takes 25 years to make an actor. And I think what he's referring to is that when you're young, your life experience is that age. I mean, when I did this play, I was 34 years old. Now, 30 years later, I'm 64 years old. So my approach to life and my understanding of it, I think, has deepened.
Did you have a full grasp at the time for the main themes of the play, which is betrayal, humiliation, infidelity, and a love lost, and ultimately death of a loved one? You
know, I mean, even when you're a teenager, you suffer some kind of betrayal.
Right. You remember your first girlfriend betraying you.
You know what I mean. So I mean, and I think, I mean, even sometimes even people, I mean, I think kids as young as 10 years old, I mean, they all also kind of like experience emotions of betrayal, either way, betrayed by their parents, maybe it's separating, whatever. So a feeling of betrayal, I think, transcends all the human experiences. And now, I mean, my understanding of betrayal, but also I think there is something that, I don't know, that comes with age, and you sort of kind of like settle in your own skin. I love and appreciate, looking at actors like Morgan Freeman. I mean, when you see him perform, it's almost like seamless. But that it has taken a life experience and life, that has happened on him.
The beauty of Can Themba's penmanship here is that he leaves you with an everlasting moral dilemma.
Exactly.
In that you don't know who to be angry for, you don't know who to root for, you don't know who to share your empathy with.
Exactly.
Having done the play 30 years ago, having done it now, how do you feel about Filimon? Is it a character you've come to appreciate a little bit better? Is it a character you've come to be empathetic for? Or is it a character that you still realize some people might be angered by, despite the fact that he's the one that experiences the initial betrayal here?
And I mean, I think Filimon, I mean, and Can Themba, I think, was brilliant in one sense, that I think he wrote about today's man yesterday.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because, I mean, at the height of where patriarchy was, the thing, and here he writes about a man who wakes up in the morning, and even when he gets out of bed, he doesn't want to wake his wife. I mean, Can Themba says Filimon did not like to wake his wife as yet, so he crawled up and out by careful peristalsis. I mean, you can see basically, and before he tiptoes out of his room, he leans over and look at the morning miracle, and which is his wife, and he's in a blissful state. He wakes up, makes fire, and even cooks breakfast for for his wife, and even wants to wash up the dishes. I mean, that is today's man, or what today's man should be, And then the next thing, I mean, on the way to work, then he gets told the news that something is happening at home, and he finds it. But again, look at how Can Themba actually puts it, I mean, deals with it brilliantly. What is expected is that, he would be angry and maybe be violent, but he doesn't become violent. And
Let's talk about violence, because violence here is part of the subtext, right? She eventually wears the suit that carries the humiliation.
No, she doesn't wear it. She carries it.
She carries it.
Yeah.
That bears the humiliation of the infidelity.
Yeah.
That many may say is a violent act. It ultimately leads to her death eventually because the heart is so deeply broken. Let's talk about violence as a non-verbal, subtle thing, and how that sometimes, how you play that out and make the audience realize that this is a violent moment.
You know, I mean, now what I read out of this story is that I think, what if Filimon was saying, here's the problem, let's talk about it. And Matilda basically didn't have the vocabulary to break that conversation. You know what I mean? And do you blame him for Matilda not having the vocabulary to address what she has started? And because they never get to talk about it. You know, and she just says, we've got a visitor, so he will do everything that we do. You know? Well, you decided to bring her in, so why
He's
don't
now a part of who we are.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we start a conversation now?
That's incredible. I hate to be comparative here about seminal pieces, but I want to compare the suit to a piece like Fences, for instance, right? Where similar themes are carried there. And when I saw Fences last year, and I realized that this is really society today. It really isn't society of 100 years ago.
You know what?
Nothing has really changed.
You know what? I would compare the suit with Nothing But the Truth.
Oh, that's a brilliant comparison.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, I mean, literally, they actually just deal with infidelity. You know, in fact, I think what Dr. John Kani did, he actually just expanded the whole thing of how this man experiences this infidelity. And for me also, I mean, just playing, having had the opportunity to play Sello Maake in Dr. John Kani's play, you know, for me it was an extension of Filimon, because now you actually see the evidence of infidelity. You know, with Sello raising the child of his brother.
Last question, we have unfortunately run out of time here. The treatment of the play matters, and the selection of theatre plays a big role in that. For instance, if you look at Fences, it works in a big theatre. If you look at The Head and the Load, that too works with an extravagant theatre. But a play like The Suit works very well in an intimate theatre, intimate setting. You guys didn't choose a traditional stage to play this on. Why?
No, absolutely. I mean, the theatre on the square is a very intimate theatre. You know, and even when we did,
it's nice, and it has,
you know, and
good family traffic.
Yeah, and also, what is that? When we did it at the market, I mean, we did it in the, the theatre was called the Upstairs then, but now it's called the Bunny Simon Theatre. And The Suit is actually the last play that the co-founder of the market, Bunny Simon, actually directed. You know, I mean, I basically actually enjoy the privilege of having been the last person that he directed. And this is also for me paying homage to him. I am the actor that I am today because of him. And his approach to theatre was just exquisite and exceptional.
Yeah, no, I'm going to come see it. Definitely bringing along friends.
No,
Those who would like to see it, get tickets?
No, tickets are at CompuTicket, and the show is running from the 30th of October till the 16th of November.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Sello Maake, kaNcube's, looking forward to seeing that. And I definitely think you should take out the family to go and see it. It is one of those plays that will live with you for a very long time. You'll see parts of your own life in it, I think, for many of us.